أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم. بسم الله الرحمن الرحيم. الحمد لله رب العالمين، والعاقبة للمتقين، ولا عدوان إلا على الظالمين، والصلاة والسلام على سيدنا ومولانا محمد وعلى آله وصحبه أجمعين. لن تأس يا رب العالمين هداية، لن تأس توفيق، لن تأس رحمة، رزقا حلالا طيبا. آمين. Alhamdulillah, all praises are due to Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala. Welcome everyone. Always honored to come to this house and to meet my dear friend, more handsome than me. Inshallah, discuss with you a few verses from the Holy Quran. As you know, my dear brothers and sisters, any heart that is empty from the Quran is a sad heart. You wonder why sometimes we feel unhappy. It's because simply the Quran is not part of our life. You will never feel unhappy if Quran is part of your life. That doesn't mean you will not have challenges, because sometimes we are selective hearers. That doesn't mean you will never have a problem. There will be problems, whether you are a Muslim or not, whether you read Quran or not. But when you read Quran, your problems become just like feathers. A feather falling on you. Unlike like a rock, when it falls on you, it will really hurt you. So problems are part of life. As long as you live, just expect problems. Family problems, health problems, financial problems, children problems, spouses problems, neighbor problems. Expect it. If you don't, then you are not wise. You are not a human being. Animals are better than you, because animals also understand there are problems, there are predators. So even animals understand they have challenges. Some Muslims forget that. They think, why problems happen to me? And I insist on that. Allah mentioned the difficulties in the Quran many times, and mentioned ease and solutions for those problems many times. So life is like this. Life is like this. But I said, if the Quran is not part of our life, then those problems will take toll on us. But if the Quran is part of our life, those problems will not hurt us emotionally. You may have a physical impairing. You may have financial impairing. You may have marital impairing. But that's not a problem at all, because Allah is part of your life. Quran is part of your life. So, as simple as this, there is one ayah in the Quran that clearly shows this. There is an ayah in the Holy Quran in Surah Taha, in Surah 20, verse 124, which I would like you to all refer to it if you have your Quran with you. Please open up Surah 20, Surah Taha, verse 124. I would like to show it to you so that you read it. It becomes tangible. When you read something with your eyes or with your mouth, or you touch it, you see it, then you will remember it. The consequence of forgetting Allah, what is the consequence of not reading the Quran? Of not being a sincere, serious Muslim. All of us are Muslims. All of us are Muslims by birth. But are we Muslims by choice? Are you with me?
Yes.
Are you listening to what I'm saying?
Yes.
Pay attention. We are all Muslims by birth. Alhamdulillah, we have choice. We were born Muslims. This is the gift of Allah to us. But are we Muslims by choice? That's our choice to make, not Allah's. Allah has already shown mercy to you by making you and me Muslims. Now, do we choose to be Muslims? Many people have been given Islam, but they die kafir. They become even murtad, na'udhu billah, alaykum salam. They die kafir. You have seen them, you have heard of them, you know some of them. The mercy of Allah has come to them. They were born Muslims. But they choose not to. Some people are married, but they are gays. They're married, Allah give them wife. But they can't. They can't approach the wife, they look for men. Na'udhu billah. So is it Allah who did that to them? Allah is so merciful to you. He made you Muslim. He gave you a wife. And you are choosing to play games and you say, I'm not happy. Your parents did everything to raise you and send you to school. You reach university. Now it's your job to get the A's. You don't want to get the A's. So it's your failure. Don't blame it on Allah. So Allah Azza wa Jal in this verse, which I am going to read with you, clearly say the consequence of staying away from the dhikr of Allah. If you stay away from the Quran, my brothers and sisters, and not attend classes like this, the consequences are devastating. It's no joke. It's really a big problem. In your dunya, let alone in akhirah. Let's see that ayah. So that the reason why I don't want just to read it, I can just give you a lecture like this and we go home. I want you to read it with me. So that, say, yeah, I read it. Surah Taha, Surah 20, verse 124, everybody. Share with your grandma. أعوذ بالله من الشيطان الرجيم ومن أعرض عن ذكري فإن له معيشة ضنكا ونحشره يوم القيامة أعمى. Just one ayah. Today, later on we see the dialogue between the person who is concerned in this ayah. May Allah never make us amongst them. Say Ameen. 124, chapter 20.
And whoever turns away from my remembrance, indeed, he will have a depressed life, and he will gather him from the day of resurrection.
Very good. In Arabic, waman, whosoever, male or female. And whosoever, Allah says, turns away from my reminder. Dhikri. Dhikri means a reminder. What is the reminder of God? The Quran. Allah, when He reminds us through the Quran. He doesn't send an angel to remind you of Salat. Everything is in the book of God, which is within your hand. Every one of us has at least one copy. If not a written copy, you have it application. If you don't have it application, that means you are not a human being. You don't care. Really, you don't care about God. Because if you care about God, the message of Allah should be with you. At least on your phone. Important people, you have their numbers. Do you have Allah's number? Allah's number is His Quran. So, all of us at least should have an app of Quran. So while you are there, you waiting somewhere, open your this and mashallah read a few verses. So what does Allah say? Whosoever turns away from my reminder, meaning the Quran, he does not believe in the Quran nor acts on its teachings. This person, he or she, look what Allah said, verily for him or her is a life of hardship in dunya. So now you know why you have hard life, some of you? Simply because the Quran is not part of your life. Make the Quran part of your life. Doesn't mean hardship will disappear, but you have what we call the antidotes. Your immune system will become strong. Spiritual immune system. All of us talk about the body. The body will deteriorate with time. Even if you live long, your body will not be the same. It's not already the same. But the spirit will always remain strong because Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala is always there in your heart. You always think of Him. You always read Quran. You always attend classes like this. You always go to the masjid, alhamdulillah. The Quran is part of your life. So Allah says, he who turns away from my dhikr, and dhikri, dhikrullah is the Quran. Remember that. What did Allah say in the Quran to Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam? What did He say? We have given you something, O Muhammad. What was it? Inna nahnu nazzalna dhikra. Here it is. Indeed, we have revealed down the dhikr. So what is the dhikr? What did Allah reveal? Al-Quran. Al-Quran is the dhikr. That's what they say. Some people say, I'm making dhikr. What do you mean? If you don't read Quran, there is no dhikr. You mean only la ilaha illallah subhanallah alhamdulillah? The Quran is the real dhikr. So if you read the Quran, if you attend classes like this, إِنَّا نَحْنُ نَزَّلْنَا الذِّكْرَ وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. And indeed, we, نحن, وَإِنَّا لَهُ لَحَافِظُونَ. صدق Allah al-Azim. Meaning, do not worry about the Quran, it's protected. Unlike other books. Other books have been changed. The Torah, the Bible, people added and minus. But here, the Quran, no one will add or minus because Allah says, we revealed it and we will protect it in the hearts of millions, even non-Arabs. So the Quran is protected. Now, the Quran being protected doesn't mean anything if we don't use it. So we need to use the Quran. That's why you find so much peace when you attend Tafseer class or Charama. Why? There is one part of you that is feeding. You neglected. The body, mashallah, you go to the gym, you walk, you buy so much vitamins, you eat well, you buy the best shampoo, soap. But that's not going really to keep the body strong. Eat well, but not long. So what will keep, wa alaikum salam, what will keep us, inshallah, stronger is the spirit. Remember that. Remember that. That's why you'll be amazed to see a very old man getting up and walking to Salat al-Fajr, and a very young man cannot get up for Salat al-Fajr but goes 2-3 hours to the gym. Carry 200-300 pounds to pop a muscle but cannot push away 500 grams blanket. But an old man, because his spirit, so it's an issue of spirit, it's not an issue of body. And you find a young man going to the masjid. So, meaning, it's the spirit, it's not the... You see a man praying with one rak'ah, with one foot, one leg, standing in front of the Kaaba. And a person with 3-4 cars cannot go to the masjid. Doesn't mean he doesn't have. It's the will. And that will comes with the dhikr of Allah. So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala said, look at it. He who turns away from the dhikr, like many Muslims today, they turn away from the dhikr. Quran is not part of their life. What happens to them? فَإِنَّ لَهُ مَعِيشَةً ضَنْكَ. His life in the dunya will be hard. Danka means very bitter in Arabic. It's not just hard, it's bitter and happy. So that's the first consequence. In dunya, the people who turn away from the Quran will not be happy. And their life will become so bitter. Nothing works. Marriage doesn't work. They are married, yet unmarried. They study, yet no knowledge goes inside. They just waste time, pass time. They have kids. The kids don't respect them. Don't show them the love. Don't show them, because they don't know dhikr. Simple as this. It's like food without salt. Food without salt, it's not tasty. Forget it. So do you know now? Please understand this ayah. If you understand this ayah today, most of you will change. I didn't say all of you will change, because some of you will never change. I know that. But some of you will really take seriously this issue, inshallah. So Allah says, but whosoever he or she turns away from my reminder, and many Muslims unfortunately have turned away from the reminder of Allah. When do we know the reminder of Allah? Janazah. When we have janazah, bring ustaz to read Quran. Why you bring me now to read Quran? It's like when a neighbor dies, when he was hungry, nobody gave him food, but when he died, everybody offers food for janazah. He was alive, nobody gave him food. Many Muslims are like that. When somebody in front of us is suffering, we never help him or her. When they die, we all come and show our remorse. To me, that's hypocrisy. So whosoever turns away from my reminder, Allah says, my reminder, my dhikr, he said, meaning you turn away from me. That's my speech, he's saying. What happens to him, Ya Allah? Verily for him or her is a life of hardship. So you want hardship to go away from you? Quran. And Allah said, we shall raise him up blind on the day of resurrection. Yawm al-Qiyamah, the people who don't study the Quran will get up blind. They can't see. They don't know where they're going. You and I, inshallah, will get up. We know. At least we see. We are all going to the gathering. Ard al-Mahshar, the land of gathering. But they will just be like blind people. And they will ask Allah, oh God, I wasn't blind in dunya. Why did you make me blind? He will tell them. We will see the remaining. But did you see the consequence? Two consequences. One in dunya, one in akhirah. So, there are two consequences for turning away from the Quran. And this is why, this is the main reason why people are not happy. Number one, hardship. Where? Hardship where? Very good. In your life. In your dunya. Number two, blindness, yawm al-qiyamah. Na'udhu billah. Blindness in this dunya is difficult. When people can care for you, your children care for you. Yawm al-qiyamah, your children will not care for you. Everybody runs away from you. You know that. Now. People will see you struggling, crossing the streets. They can come and help you, even when they don't know you. Why? Because people care. But in akhirah, no one cares because everybody's scared. Your own children will run away from you. They are so worried for themselves. Blindness in akhirah. And that's dangerous. That's a sign that Allah is angry already. So this is all in Surah 20. Share it please. Verse 124. Show people like this, because everybody is talking about the numbers of money. No one is talking about the numbers of Quran. Everybody is talking about 20K, 200K, 20 million, 2 billion. No one is talking about Surah 20, verse 125, 24. So now you know, my brothers and sisters, why many Muslims are unhappy. This is it. Simple as this. People miss what makes them happy. The reminder of Allah, the Quran. Serious. We don't mind about 90 minutes watching soccer. Badminton, Malaysia versus China, how many hours? Whatever. Think about it. Your favorite show, your cooking show, your I don't know what show. You yourself are a show. You yourself are a show, you just don't realize that. Takbir. No problem. But the Imam adds 5 more minutes in reading Quran. Oh my God. Tarawih. We shop for masjid. First night, masajid all open, and then they exchange. What time did you finish? What your masjid finish? What time? And then you see. Oh my God, what is that? This is the month of Quran. This is the month of Quran. Only 1 month, and then it will pass. You see, my brothers? So many of us, na'udhu billah, fall into this. This is why. So already we have hardship in our lives. So what do you expect Yawm al-Qiyamah? Rising up as what? As blind. Remember that. It's not physics. It's not nuclear physics. It's very simple. The missing of the Quran in this dunya, from your life, turning away from the reminder of Allah, that leads to unhappiness in dunya, and blindness in akhirah. Now, look what will happen there. Yawm al-Qiyamah, when Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala, people talk to him, oh Allah, I wasn't blind. I wasn't blind in dunya. I lived seeing. Why did you raise me blind? Let's see. Continue, please. قال رب لم حشرتني أعمى وقد كنت بصيرا قال كذلك أتتك آياتنا فنسيتها وكذلك اليوم تنسى. So there is dialogue Yawm al-Qiyamah between Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala and those people who will rise up, na'udhu billah, blind. Not only they have very hard life. Hard life, brothers and sisters, doesn't mean poverty. You could be very rich, but very unhappy. Very unhappy. You feel like you're missing something. Well, it's simple. Just go to the Quran. Attend any class of your favorite. Don't have to come to Sheikh Zoubir. As if I need you. I don't need you. I'm telling you now. Go, but you go to your own. Find a Sheikh and join the class. Go. But study. It's good for you. It's good for your children. It's good for your parents. It's good. It will mend your relationship with your spouse. Even if he or she are not that much into the deen, one day Allah will guide them. But at least start with yourself. And what are we without Allah, brothers and sisters? Honestly, what are we? Without God, honestly, what are we? Is the company now sending me oxygen? That I care so much for and I go at night for them to please them? Takbir? Is it sending me oxygen?
No.
It is Allah who is giving me oxygen. When I need to sleep, do I need I don't know who to send me sleep? It is Allah who makes me rest. So we are nothing without God. So let's show respect to His book, to His speech. He's talking to us. Like now. He's already telling us future. He's already telling us what will happen in the future, Yawm al-Qiyamah. So we better not, what? Lose the answer. Oh my God, where do you find a teacher who teaches you, tells you when is the exam, and give you the answer for the questions of the exam? Imagine, I teach you. I tell you tomorrow is the exam. I already told you. And I say, here are the questions and here are the answers. Still you come tomorrow, you forgot about the exam. I already gave you the answer. You did not prepare. What do you think I should do now to you? So let's see what Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala debates with that person. Look what 125, Sister Shamin, go ahead to read that English.
She will say, my Lord, why have you raised me blind while I was once seeing?
That person will say, Allah, I was seeing in the dunya. Why am I blind now? What does Allah tell him? Sister Nabila, answer. 126.
Allah will see like this, our ayat, proof, evidence, verses, lessons, signs, revelations came unto you, but you disregarded them, i.e. you left them, did not think deeply in them, and you turned away from them. And so this day you will be neglected in the hellfire away from Allah's mercy.
You neglected the Quran. The Quran came to you, you were born Muslim. Allah sent you Sheikh Zoubir. There were many shuyukh near your house. Whether you were in Singapore or in Kuala Lumpur or any port, there was always a sheikh. But you didn't want. You thought it's not time. Life is good. We are okay. My husband is alright. I am okay. I'm among my family. The children are doing well. The children are not doing good without Quran. No one is doing good without Quran. I'm telling you now. Because there is one spiritual thing that you don't see. Shayateen run away from Quran. There is always demon trying to touch you with anger, with suspicion, with problems. And by not reading the Quran, you keep yourself open for him and say, come, touch me. Control my body, control my mind. Do whatever you want. I will obey you. But when you read the Quran, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala somehow is protecting you, preserving you. When you listen to the Quran, just listen to the Quran. Why do you think Allah wants us to go to the masjid? Why Allah wants us to go to the masjid? So to be protected, because in the masjid there are believers like you, so you gain positive energy, because there are people good, as good as you or better than you, and there is imam leading, so you get the positive energy. So then you are fully charged like battery until the next prayer. But you just pray at home, even at home late. What is this? Are you serious? So please remember this, my dear sisters and brothers. The key for happiness is the Quran. By listening to it, you have to surrender to God. Surrender, don't fight Him. When you hear the Quran, alhamdulillah, there is class attend. At least once a week. Once a week, shame on us. Do you eat once a week? Yalla, let's eat once a week and we'll see. Once a week we eat very well. No problem. Fill up the table, eat very well. After half day you become hungry. So no, the spirit is even more hungry than the body. But you don't pay attention to it because shaitan is playing with it. So Allah says, when He says, "Oh Allah, why did you raise me up as a blind person when I was not?" He or she will say, "In dunya I wasn't blind." Allah says, likewise, you turned away from our dhikr. We forget about you. How? By making you blind. Inhale. Truth. So the consequence of staying away from the Quran is no joke, brothers and sisters. It's very dangerous. Now, question to all of you. Imagine with me a scattered nation called the Arabs. No one knows anyone except through violence. The only thing they respected is Hajj once a year, because of the teachings of Ibrahim alayhi salam. Suddenly, so from shepherds of sheep and cattle to shepherds of nations. What happened? What changed them? This book. It was this book that united the Arabs and made them the greatest nation. Then they went all over the world, took Islam all the way to Mongolia, east, and all the way to Spain, west. It was this book. So this book has miracles. Now, what made us very weak and divided? Staying away from this book. Look at it. Very hard for you to come to a class like this. 70 more plus shaitan pulling you. No need to go. Maybe Sheikh is still tired. I am still tired, but still have to fight. Serious. So you see, when you want to attend a class like this, how many shaitan work on you? But when you are about to meet and greet, suddenly you find the energy. You want to go. Because you want the dunya. Okay, may Allah forgive us. So Allah says, even the answer in 126. Allah says, Allah will say on the Day of Judgment, like this, our ayat, our Quran has come to you, but you disregarded the Quran. You left it away. The Quran was only good for marriage and for janazah. That's all. Like most Malays. When do they read Yasin? Although Yasin is not for death, subhanAllah, it's for life. Surah Yasin is all about life. SubhanAllah, it's all about life. But, so who put that in the mind of the Malays? We need to investigate. Allah will tell him, likewise, the Quran has come to you, but you disregarded it, the ayat. Did not think deeply in the ayat, in the verses. You never thought of, let me see what this ayah is saying. What is Allah saying here? فَاصْبِرْ عَلَى مَا يَقُولُونَ. Example. And don't say it's not my language. Okay, you have, alhamdulillah, Quran is translated to all languages. Don't say I don't know Arabic. No. Don't say, I don't know Arabic. If you love someone and he writes you a letter of love in his Chinese language, Sanskrit language, but you love the person, what would you do?
Google Translate.
Oh, not Google. You will go to a certified translator. Please translate for me and here is money. Because you love the person. It's coming from someone you love. If you truly love Allah, you would really try to understand what is Allah saying. What is Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala saying? So, and you turned away, Allah says. You turned away, meaning you didn't want to attend classes. By the way, anyone who Allah gave him or her chance to study Quran like this and turns away, Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala will hold them responsible in Qiyamah. Allah gave you class. You were invited. You were really invited, but you refused. So don't blame it on anyone. There is a father who yesterday needed my help. His son completely changed and even very aggressive. I told him, because you dropped the Quran classes. He said, yes, you're right. I said, since you stopped teaching your child the Quran, he said, I agree with you. It was that mistake. His son wants to hit him now. Ta'awudhu billah. Yeah. Many people don't understand the importance of Quran because they think the Quran, we are into what we call material things. If I see a nice watch on my hand, yes, I feel it. No, how about the ni'mah of aql, ni'mah of peace? Isn't that worth it billions? Billions. Huh. Just read what Steve Jobs said before he died, when he was on his last few hours, few months, few days of cancer. Read what he said. This is a guy who, do you question his money and success and fame? At the end he realized that life is not all about finance and people and meeting so and so. If you know Allah, if you meet Allah, you can meet Allah every day through the Quran, through the Salat. There are two ways to meet Allah. Through Salat, and in the Salat, mashallah, you must read Quran, whatever surah you know. And there is the other meeting, which is every day you read few pages until you finish, and then you restart until you finish, and then make it a life project. Every day I read few pages, even from my cell phone. On my free time I read, and then bookmark. Then you finish in few months, in few days. It depends how good you are with the Quran. Once you have that love, that's it. You become addicted. But you didn't give chance to the Quran to work. You say, I tried few classes and I didn't understand. No. Once you get addicted, khalas, alhamdulillah. Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala has saved you. What happens also to people who, there are another type of people who will be blind, Yawm al-Qiyamah. Be careful, please, my sisters and brothers. Look at it. Next verse, please. 127. 127. And feel free to ask during the class. As I speak, please feel free to ask. It's not khutbah Jumu'ah. This is not khutbah. Khutbah, don't ask until the Imam finishes. Okay, let's read. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي مَنْ أَسْرَفَ وَلَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِ وَلَعَذَابُ الْآخِرَةِ أَشَدُّ وَأَبْقَى. There is one thing similar to those who stay away from the Quran, which is hardship in dunya, and bitterness, and blindness yawm al-qiyamah. Who are they? Look at it. Yalla, one of the sisters. Sister Rosita, read for us the English.
And thus do we recompense he who transgressed and did not believe in the signs of his Lord. And the punishment of the hereafter is more severe and more enduring.
The same Allah has promised. Hardship in this life and blindness for those who turn away from they commit sins continuously. Asraf, Israf, Mumbazir. You know Mumbazir in what? Not in finance, in money only. No, in sins. They keep repeating the same sins. Although they say we repent, you keep repeating the same mistake. Come on, guys. You made mistake, repent, khalas. But you keep redoing it. It means you don't learn from your mistakes. Look what Allah said. وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي مَنْ أَسْرَفَ. And thus do we requite him who transgresses beyond bounds. Meaning who commits sins, great sins, and keep repeating them by disobeying Allah. Asraf. Look, Allah doesn't mind few mistakes here and there and repenting. But He will mind if you keep repeating the same mistake. You. Do you expect that the person keep repeating the same mistake? Your son keep repeating the same mistake. What do you think? He's stupid. By repeating the same mistake, I always knock my head with that door. And tell my son, careful. He keeps doing it. What does that mean? Very good. That's the only solution. So, for stupidity, Allah didn't create you stupid. Allah created you very smart. But you chose to be, so He will punish you. He said, I will do the same thing for those who turn away from my guidance, as well as for those who keep repeating the same mistakes. You don't want to learn? How many opportunities Allah is going to give you and me? How many opportunities? He gave us. Many times you went to hospital and He brought you back. Many times you got sick, He brought you back. Many times you had problems with your spouse and then the relationship was fixed. So what do you think yourself? You're not learning. You keep repeating the same mistakes. It means you don't care about Allah. Because Allah is so merciful, He's giving you chances. But once He closed the door, that's it. Please remember that. So Allah says, وَكَذَلِكَ نَجْزِي مَنْ أَسْرَفَ وَلَمْ يُؤْمِنْ بِآيَاتِ رَبِّهِ. Meaning those who don't follow the Quran are not true believers. SubhanAllah. The true. Today I did the tafseer of the last few verses with the children of Surah Al-Baqarah. آمَنَ الرَّسُولُ. The Prophet himself believed. In what? آمَنَ الرَّسُولُ بِمَا أُنزِلَ إِلَيْهِ مِنْ رَبِّهِ. In what was revealed to him from his Lord, which is? The Prophet himself accepted. وَالْمُؤْمِنُونَ, the Sahaba. Allah called them mu'mins. Because they practiced it. They were not like you and me, just listening and then do the opposite. Once the ayah comes, they practice it. Imagine this. In Medina, women were not hijab, no hijab. They were going out without hijab. Their hair, their everything. There was no ayah yet. The ayah came down. There were some sisters, like our sisters, let's say, in Sister Shamin's house. They came without hijab. Imagine with me, there was no ayah about hijab yet. So women go out freely like Europe. So they come to Sister Shamin's house. The ayah comes down. Young kids come and tell them, Allah has forbidden women from showing their hair anymore. The women don't say, okay, we go home and wear. In the same house of Sister Shamin, they will ask, sister, can we use your veils, your curtains? That's why it's called Ayatul Hijab. On our heads, cross the street, put on, and bring you back your curtains. That's the obedience of Sahaba. That's why Allah called them true believers. 3 Sahaba failed to go to jihad. They just stayed home. They didn't work with the enemy. Allah called them mukhallafun. So the man looked at them like women. Only women don't go to jihad. So they were looking at them. You better cover. Put hijab. Even the women said, you are not my husband. How can you leave Rasulullah sallallahu alaihi wasallam? He goes to jihad and not you. Yeah, you have no excuse. So today, come see what's happening in Palestine, in Burma, in this, and we are just staying here. So we are women also. All Muslim men should wear also. Serious. The ayah is coming, they don't say, no, let me, I'm still confused. May Allah confuse you all your life.
Not ready.
Not ready. When are you ready? But ready to go here and there. Oh, Bosnia, here we come. Sarajevo. Algeria, not yet. Takbir. London, always ready. 2 flights a day. Malaysia Airlines. A380, the biggest airline, aircraft. 2, 1 going and 1 coming, without British Airways. No, do you understand that we are into the dunya? We are not really thinking about that grave. One day we will enter that grave. And Allah is giving us chances, my sisters and brothers. Allah is giving us so many chances to fix. Very soon we will be in the grave. Where are those who lived with us? Good people and bad people. They lived with us and they were powerful and they were CEOs. Yet, we know these are facts. I know you are listening to me, but after I leave, I don't know what will happen to you. So please, make this Quran part of your life. Alhamdulillah, you already started. By coming to classes like this, you show, alhamdulillah, that you are into the dhikr of Allah. But should be more, every day. Part of your life. What are you listening to when you go in your car? Quran, alhamdulillah, then you are okay. When you meet, do you meet the people who are better than you and remind you of salat? Then okay. You meet sisters who remind you of God. Or are you meeting people who always talk about tuxedos and money and I don't know what? So Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala then at the end gave us the ultimate threat, which is وَلَعَذَابُ الْآخِرَةِ أَشَدُّ وَأَبْقَى. And indeed the punishment of the hereafter is even more severe and more lasting. So he said avoid it now. Brothers and sisters, let's do an experience now. If I go now to the kitchen and bring a hot knife, I put knife on fire and then bring it and say any volunteer just to put it on his hand. Would you volunteer? I don't think so. No one in his right mind will volunteer. Even crazy person, when we bring that knife in front of him, he may run away. Animal will run away. We all know it's wrong. It's dangerous. Allah says, I'm not going to just punish you once or twice. Forever. Why? My book was being read in front of you, you run away. Many brothers and sisters, there are classes like this, turn away. Take away. So I stop here and open now the floor for questions and answers. And please feel free to ask about this subject or something else, but we'll start with this subject first.